we're looking at the cameras because it's time to start the Auto Live show, and there's like an extra copy of the things. Look at that. I just got rid of that.
Yeah.
I know. Hey, Maeve, how are you?
Good. How are you?
You know what? I'm hanging in there. So this is our pre-show countdown for the Ultra Live show. Everybody, thanks for joining us, whether you're live or on demand. We'll get to what we're actually talking about in just a little bit. But as has been tradition, we like to take a couple of minutes up front of the show and give you our recommendations on life, on pop culture, but really on television, because Maeve and I are both passionate about television. Maeve gave a recommendation last week, and it was...
Oh, I think it was Ghosts.
It was Ghosts.
Yes.
Ghosts,
HBO Max, BBC.
Yep. And I proceeded to add that directly to I have a notepad on this screen that has all these things that my wife and I need to watch. So I added it right to there. So thanks for that. I appreciate that. My installment for this episode is going to be something that a lot of you have probably seen, but you may not have actually dove into in a long time. It was a show that started back in 2006. It started with an airplane crash. Do you know where I'm headed with this one, Maeve?
Okay, yes.
Okay,
and
good.
I actually haven't seen it.
Okay, well, this is going to be good.
Okay.
I'm going to move you over in the thing. The show's called Lost, and what Lost was, the reason I'm recommending it in 2022 is there's 6 seasons. 4 of them are good. Season 3 is, and season 5 is kind of like, you just kind of want to get through it. But the show itself is one of those shows that the acting is not good. So I just got to put that out there. There's probably, it's a definite ensemble cast. So there's really, I think there's 11 or 12 main characters, and you learn all their stories, and it all intricately fits together, and yada yada yada. But where it really shines, so it falls down in the character or in the acting thing. Where it really shines, however, is in its storytelling. And it tells a masterful story that has intrigue, it has murder, it has humor, it has philosophy, heavy doses of philosophy. There's a guy in there named John Locke. And if you know anything about the philosopher, John Locke, you'll know a little bit about what his character is about. And that's all I need to say. There is a whole lot of supernatural stuff going on. There's some sci-fi. There is some action. There's polar bears, which they don't explain until like they start out like the episode 1, 2, and 3. There's a polar bear, and then they never really get to why there's a polar bear. We're out of time, but I'm gonna keep talking about Lost here. Let me pull up our cameras here. They never really get to why they're talking about a polar bear. They just are. And then all of a sudden in season 5 and season 6, they round the bend back to the polar bear, and it's such a deep cut that
interesting.
Yeah. And it's a show, and I don't know how you feel about this, but it's a show full of red herrings. You know the term red herrings?
Yep.
It's a show full of those. And back in the heyday of Lost, so 2006, 2007, 2008, all the way up to like 2012, 13-ish when it ended. It was right around when the internet kind of discussion board thing was really taking off. And so one of the coolest things to do was to get your friends together, or, you know, if you were just doing it online, you'd watch the episode and then you'd immediately go to the message boards or to chat or whatever. Reddit wasn't really a thing at that point. I mean, it was, but it wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah.
And you'd go to that message board and you would just start firing off your theories. And a lot of the stuff was red herring. And so it would just lead you down a path, and all of a sudden they would jerk you around, and then it would be something completely different. You'd go, wait, how did that
Oh, interesting.
And so if you take it at the surface of like, well, I want all my questions answered, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But if you take it for the story that they're trying to craft all around it, you may be disappointed at the very end of it, but that's only because they've told such a masterful story and you don't really know how to take much of that. Does this make sense here?
Yes, I remember because my parents were really into it. when I was younger.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. They would get like I think they got like the DVDs at the library. It was like
Ooh.
during that time.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I always heard about it, and I always was like, I wonder if I'll ever watch it in the future. I know it has the guy. Doesn't it have the guy from Party of Five?
Yeah, Matthew Fox.
Yeah. I watched Party of Five. That show got so depressing. I couldn't.
No,
take it
hey,
anymore.
you're not wrong. I'm currently no, it did get very depressing. I'm currently looking at all six, episodes of Lost. Maybe it's just this episode on. Oh no, they're all on Amazon Prime for free.
Oh, okay.
They're also on Hulu.
Okay.
Right. And you've got 6 delightful seasons from Flight 815. And it's also got, have you seen Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I think so. I probably a while ago, so I don't remember.
It's got Evangeline Lilly, who is the Wasp, who
Oh, yes. Okay.
Before I got married, I had a super crush on her. So I love my wife. I love my wife more than anything. Evangeline Lilly. Yeah. Oh, she grew up a missionary, and she's anyway. We're wasting time. Yeah. Right. She's totally rad. Welcome to the Ultra Live Show, where sometimes we talk about Ultra Live, and other times we talk about other things. And after we get done with this, Maeve and I are going to talk about doing another podcast.
Yes.
And so stay tuned for all of that. More on that to come. If you are interested in some of our nerdery and tomfoolery,
that's a good word for it.
Tomfoolery, yeah, absolutely. Before we want to get going, Maeve, we've got a couple of minutes here. I want you to tell me the story of when you got kicked out of Italy, because you started to tell me, and then I said stop because I wanted to hold it for the show. So, please proceed.
Okay. Yes. So I was, you know how your body kind of like you'll like forget something, but like your body remembers it. So you'll be like walking around one day, be like something is off, and so that kind of happened these last couple days, and I was like, well, why do I feel this way? And then it clicked in my mind that, oh my gosh, it's been 2 years since I was evacuated out of Italy because of the coronavirus.
Like just that small little thing.
No, I know exactly. So 2 years ago, I was a junior in college, and I was studying abroad in Orvieto, Italy, in this great program through my college, and I was only there for 2 weeks, and so I flew February 22nd, so that's when I left my home. Okay. February 22nd, and I'm pretty sure like while we were in the air going over to Italy, that's when the famous disease hit the country, and we get there and we're not really, and at that point, we had no idea what was going on. And the program director saying like, we're aware of it, we're just gonna monitor it, it's gonna be fine, we probably won't go to Rome, that's really sad, but we'll be able to explore the surrounding town. And at that point, I'm like, I just got to Italy. It's a great surrounding town. Like, I don't need to go to Rome right now. Let me just explore this town that I just got to. And just day by day, they were kind of monitoring it, and they would like there was a bunch of like a program director, and there was a kind of like other like assistants, teachers assistants, and they'd have these like little meetings and come back, and we were just every single day we would just be like, all right, we don't really know what's happening. So it was 2 weeks, but I was probably in Italy for 10 days if you don't count like, if I'm not counting the travel. Do not tell me it was 2 weeks. It was only 10 days. And I was supposed to be there from February to June.
Oh my goodness.
I was gonna, yes, and then, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm laughing, but honestly, it totally blows.
Yeah, totally. You're allowed to say that.
It was the worst. And so I was supposed to stay there from February to June, and then my family was gonna come, and then we were gonna spend some like 2 weeks, kind of like touring around. And then I was going to go on this British theater seminar for 2 weeks where you spend 1 week in London seeing plays and then going to Scotland and going to their big like mini
Dude.
play fest, the Fringe Festival. And that was like I was also doing that. So my entire year, like second semester, summer was just completely like it just ended. So I was just home,
Oh.
and we definitely made the most of it. But when we found out we had to go home, we had like 2 days. We found out on a Wednesday, and then we left on Friday. And so we spent like all of Thursday just kind of like doing whatever we wanted to do. But the scary thing is that if they would take your temperature as you were boarding the plane. And so if you like kind of had a little bit of a fever, like like only a couple degrees over, like the normal, I guess, body temperature, they would keep you in Italy. And so I was like pre-gaming with vitamins and like taking my tea because I honestly could have worked myself into a fever. But luckily, I got on the plane. But it was crazy. It was so stress inducing, and
Maeve,
I don't
that's
think I've
nuts.
fully processed it, but yeah, that was my 2 weeks in Italy.
Wow.
And it was crazy because by the end of the year, I was like, what did I do this year? Oh, yeah, I was in Italy for 2 weeks,
Oh yeah.
which is a crazy,
COVID.
crazy experience. Exactly. So it's been 2 years, which is wild. And to
Huh.
think how much like my life has changed
And how much the
since.
world has changed.
Exactly. Exactly.
Huh.
So that's my story. Yeah, March 5th. So probably today is the day I found out I had to leave. 2 years to
Welcome.
the day.
Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome to the Ultra Live Show, guys. We
Yeah.
talk about really fun things
Last
here.
week we talked about Ukraine. This week we're talking about COVID.
I know.
What's next? You want to talk about global warming or anything like that? Like,
No. I had a great time in Italy. My 2 weeks there. Great,
totally.
great.
Did you have to wear a mask the whole time?
No, it was kind of it was like we had no idea. They gave us masks on the plane and some people wore them, but at that point, I was like, what the heck? I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm just going to wear. And then, of course, within a few weeks, like that was the thing. And I'm like planning outfits around my mask, how quickly the
Oh,
time.
how quickly
Yeah,
the tables have turned.
exactly. How
Awesome.
the
How the
turntables.
turntables turn, Michael. So speaking of COVID, we actually wanted to not talk about COVID. We wanted to talk about Ultra
No.
Live. But we wanted to talk about the fact that Ultra Live was birthed out of COVID, honestly,
Yeah.
for churches. It really was. It was designed as a tool to help churches get online and further their online community. But it started during COVID, which is a bad time to start any business, honestly.
Yeah.
And yet it's thriving and growing, and we're watching the platform connect with people, and we're watching hundreds and hundreds of people connect every single week. And so, first off, thanks to everybody that connects through Alter Live. But second of all, we kind of wanted to start out the process with you, because there are a number of people. We're getting more and more people talking to us, right, Maeve? We're getting more and more people that are looking at our stuff, that are tracking with us. We're getting a lot of responses to emails, a lot of social media interest, things that are coming back at us and saying, how does this
Totally.
work? What do you do? Where do you even start? And so we
Right.
wanted to kind of walk through that process a little bit with you today in a segment we're calling What to Expect. I wanted to call it What to Expect When You're Expecting, but that was already taken. So we're just going to call it What to Expect. And Maeve, I'm gonna ask that you kind of kick it over while I switch some scenes up here. But when we get started with Ultra Live,
Right.
where do we go from here?
Right. So the normal kind of process is that when after you've explored the website, done your research a little bit, kind of checked out the different like maybe the blogs or the support articles, just kind of took your time around the website because we have a lot of great information
Mm-hmm.
there. Then the first step you want to do is to book your product demo, like schedule a demo, and there it is, front. As soon as you get to the front of the website, like first page of the website, there you go. You can already schedule a demo. And so scheduling a demo is really easy. You just pick a time and you'll meet with our engagement consultant, who most likely will be Stephanie, our CEO, and she is amazing
She's
at
great.
it. Like
Yep.
I've watched her meet with customers, and she really helps you get to know the platform and just walk you through it so you are really comfortable. So, right. So, step one, kind of once you schedule your demo, you'll have your first onboarding call and account set up with Stephanie, which takes about an hour. So that's after you schedule the demo, you've got, the date, you log on to the video chat. The first call is about going over the onboarding schedule, which is what we're going to be talking about in this video today.
Right.
And then you'll be talking about defining your onboarding goals. And I feel it for this, your goals are up to you. This is where you decide how you're going to be using the platform, because there really are no wrong ways to use the platform. Some churches use it for small groups, just small groups, because we have a great meetings feature with all these really cool, fun things like sharing screen, audio share. I'm still blown away by the audio share. I just think it's amazing, because I'm always wanting to show songs to people, and you can link your Spotify account to it and play music in the background of all your meetings. Anyway, then you set up an account together. So you kind of go through that process of, all right, filling out everything, putting all your information in, just so you can have an account and you can play around with the product yourself. And then also on this call, you'll talk about your team a little bit, making sure your entire team has access to the account. They know how to navigate it. And what's great is if you don't have a team, we'll help you form one. We want to set you up for success, and your team can be as small as one person, or it can be a group of people. It doesn't matter how many people there are, as long as they have access and they know how to navigate the platform. But we help you do that. We help you and we set you up for success.
That's good. So after all that happens, we have a lot behind the scenes that is set to help you. And so I'm going to uncover a document just very briefly. And you can't tell anyone that you saw this, because it is top secret and highly confidential. It's called our roadmap to launch. And it's going to be up here very briefly. Ready? 3, 2, 1. There it is right there. Look at all this. Look at all this stuff
Beautiful.
here. Oh, my goodness. And yeah, there it is. And we're going away. In all reality, what will end up happening is we will help you connect your team. We will do all these things, but there is a long checklist of things, because ultimately our goal is to get you up and running with however you want to use. Maeve just said that the goals are ultimately up to you and your community. And you can decide if you want to run live services. You can decide if you want to run pre-recorded services or events. Doesn't even have to be services. Could be events. Could be, we had somebody on last night doing a comedy show, a variety show, which was totally awesome. We have people that do large-scale events and meetings on there. Or if you want to do a hybrid of the live and the pre-recorded thing. At that point, we will also be able to help you and show you how to transition away from things like Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Skype, so that you can use our meetings function, which is totally awesome. We've got a ton of stuff on our YouTube page, and I'm going to pull up our YouTube channel in just a second, youtube.com/ultralive. Look at that, pops right up. We've got a ton of stuff in here that is actually greeter guides, platform information, and then an actual tutorial series here, so that large, gigantic checklist we just showed you, you can actually do a little bit of homework and go ahead. So you can actually, for your host training, for example, you can send this link to your host and just say, hey, we want you to be part of Ultra Live. We know this might be daunting, but here, these videos are 3 and 5 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 3 minutes long. Some of the stuff that, your host won't ever need. And then all you got to do is send them the host and greeter guide. Look at that. 1 minute, almost 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. That one's 9, but that's okay, sorry. But those, I got a little loquacious in that one. But those videos are designed to help your hosts create events, to show you examples of services on Ultra Live, to show people the first-time experience for the attendees, because that's the most important thing, making people feel welcome, allowing people to kind of review what a host is, and then ultimately, as the leader, you get to decide your first dry run of an event. Because obviously you don't just want to open the floodgates and say, hey, church, come on in here, let's do this thing and let's break it, and then get everybody get discouraged because nothing's working right, because we don't know how to use it, et cetera, et cetera. So all the way up to that point, especially in that very first onboarding call with Stephanie or whomever is going to be taking care of it, you're going to decide on your first dry run. Maeve, can you talk about the dry run just a little bit?
Yeah, so the dry run is like your practice event. This is like, if you ever did like a play or something, this is like your dress rehearsal. This is where you can let all of the problems happen. This is where you can mess up as many times. It's a safe space, I guess, where you can just try the platform and explore and try different things. Usually the best way to set up a dry run is definitely doing it midweek. Like you don't want to get to like Friday night and being like, all right, we need to have a dry run. Midweek, early in the week, just so you have enough time to play around with it, get comfortable with it, have questions, that you have be answered, or figure out, or like troubleshooting different things with your team. Definitely early midweek, around there. No Friday night, Saturday night dry runs. That never goes well.
Yeah.
Never goes well.
No.
So you can do an event, or you can do a meeting, just whatever your preference is, for however you're using Alter Live. You can do either a live video or a pre-recorded video. Sometimes when I make example events and I'm playing around with a platform, I just pick, a random YouTube video and link it onto when you're creating events. So you don't have to like worry about creating a video or going live for a dry run. It's just to test out the actual platform, because we're a destination platform. You don't have to worry about the video or the live stream necessarily,
right?
Unless you want to test, your live stream stuff, which we can also help you with. And then you also need to have a small internal test group, about like 5 to 10 people. These are going to be the people who are going to sit in the audience, type things in the chat. You could probably use your hosts and greeters as a small internal test group, because they can also play around with the platform and test out the host and greeter channel if they want. This is just so you can get a sense of what it will look like, and when you have an audience, and how to react if anyone in the audience has a question and puts it in the chat, so you know where everything is and we just want to have as close to like a Sunday service or a church event, as close as we can get, so you know what to expect when your real event rolls around. Exactly. I'm looking at the notes right now. The goal is to simulate a live experience and test host functionality.
Right.
Perfect.
Right. And that's what we're doing right here. Testing live and host functionality. One of the key things about kind of the first step or two with Alter Live is it might seem very daunting. What I've been showing you as Maeve's been talking is our church, for the church that I am the digital pastor for. We're actually using Alter Live for the very first time this Sunday with the entire church. We just started marketing it to the entire church, opened up the doors. Previously to that, we had done a couple of little events with, I think, 8 people in one of them, 5 people in one of them, and like 10 people in one of them, just so I could get a feel for it. Even though I work with Alter Live and I'm on the platform all the time, it's different when you actually have people that are in there and you're live with people, and you things are happening and people are talking and people are praying and chat is going, and it's different, and it's not pressure packed, but I, as the leader, want to be able to know how to interact with people accordingly. And it can be very daunting if you're coming from something like Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or the Church Online platform, because while it shares similarities, it's actually Alter Live is a much more powerful platform. We allow you to look at people like Maeve and I are doing right now, looking into a camera and talking into a microphone. We allow you to do that while everything else is running on. And so if you're not used to that, it can be a little hairy at first. So usually we recommend 1 dry run, but if you need 2 or 3 or 5, I'm sure we could take care of that. Stephanie's watching right now. Stephanie, I'm sure we could give people 5 dry runs, right? Okay, cool. But yeah, so that really will help you kind of get up to the end of your first kind of test run, whether that's 1 event or a number of events. After that, we have some steps that happen. But Maeve, I don't know how far we want to go. I think we kind of want to stop this here.
Yeah, I think we want to stop this here, but I will say that there are more steps. Like, we don't leave you hanging after the dry run.
No.
We make sure that the dry run went well. Oh my gosh, words. And so so you could have a successful event. Like, we won't be like, all right, have fun with the platform. We're gonna be like, how did it go? Is there anything we can do to help you? Did you have any issues? Here's how you can fix it. We really, really guide you through this whole process because it is a tech company, and we're tech people, but not everyone is, not everyone can navigate a platform as quickly as the next person. I personally, can take slower time than most people, and I know how to navigate the platform now, guys.
Look at that. You did it, Maeve. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the Academy. You can even see in our dry run, or in our kind of steps to completion thing, we're only not even halfway through yet. This is the dry run. Shows you kind of what you can do, how to simulate. The goal is to simulate live experience and test host functionality. And then we will set up a debrief with you. And we haven't even gotten to the debrief, and then kind of your launch events and everything after that. And we kind of like to pride ourselves on pride's a sin. We understand that. But we like to pride ourselves on being available 24/7 for all of your questions, for anything that pops up. We're always available on our webpage. You can see this little thing pop up. This actually allows you to talk to a person. Emails, socials, we're always around. We're always there to answer questions. So if something does blow up, something does break, something you are unsure about something, even just little questions of where do I add the name to my event? Well, it's right here in the thing that says name. Oh, cool. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate that. Or Maeve, where do I put a service graphic? Well, you put it right here. Cool. Thanks, Maeve.
Yep.
That type of stuff. We're always available. Maeve, what am I missing here?
I think we've done everything. I'm looking through our little notes here.
I think we reached the end of our notes. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going back to the top just to make sure. I think going into it, you need to keep in mind that, it is a process. So it will take a few weeks to roll out. That's not to drag anything out. That's just to set you up for success. I know I've said that a million times, but that is what we want. That is our goal, to help you use this platform to maximize your experience, really serve your community, because we believe that Altar Live is the best way to have an online service.
I agree. I don't think there's anything more to say about that. Next week, we're gonna take a little bit of a break from the Altar Live product chat next week, because we have a very special guest coming up. Maeve, who's coming up next week?
Just Kirk Nugent.
Oh, just the one, the only Kirk Nugent.
The one, the only.
Amazon's own Kirk Nugent.
Oh my God.
Which I'm going to ask him about that next week, of how do you get on. I was actually looking at this microphone that I bought, and I scrolled down to the reviews, and dude was just sitting there doing a live review on Amazon.com of this microphone, straight up live, and it's like, that's Kirk. Like, we know that guy. He does Altar Academy. How's that work? I screenshotted it. I sent it all around our Slack. It was pretty dope. So we're going to have a lot to talk about with him. He's going to have a lot to teach us and to teach you, because he is just kind of the master streamer extraordinaire, and I can't wait to do that. Maeve, you can have a good weekend. What are you doing this weekend?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Well, my sister is home for spring break, so...
Already?
Something. Yeah.
It's March.
I don't know. I don't understand the academic calendar, but she's home for spring break.
Good for her.
My cousin's spring break was last week, so I have no idea.
Huh.
Crazy.
Okay. Well, in that case, thanks everybody for joining us here on the Ultra Live Show. We'll see you next time. Until then, we love you. Talk soon.
Bye, guys.